Okay, I said that I would like you to give me a chance just to introduce what we're going to do, and then we'll start. First of all, I'm telling you that I'm using a basic account, so it will take only 40 minutes. But I think before the 14 minutes, we will have finished, this session. Now, let me just share the screen, please, and show you what we're going to read. Good. As you can see, this is the book that we are going to read. Okay. It's a children. Yeah, that's a story, a children's book, but I found this very important. Why? Because just it will help us not only read, and maybe after reading, we can just talk a little bit about ourselves, maybe when we were children also. Now, okay, I'm going.
Read it for a long time.
Sorry.
I read it for a long time.
That's great. That's great.
It's a nice story.
That's great. Okay, what we are going to do is we're going to display this book, and maybe we give chance to to each one to read, even if just one paragraph, and then we will talk a little bit about it. For example, this first page that you see, okay, this first page, I found a frog. The thing that you see here, this is the guy, and you see those creatures are, frogs. Now let's start from the beginning. Okay, so I found a frog is a story describing the unique transformation of a tadpole into a frog. It is fun, educational, and just may have you catching a tadpole so you and your child can see it for yourself. Great. Now this is the beginning. I would like someone to read this passage, please.
Go on.
Hello?
Hello, I hear you. Go on.
Okay, I would like someone to read this passage, please.
I can.
Okay.
Even though I have grandchildren of my own, it seems like it was only yesterday when I returned home from school to find a frog in my bedroom.
Okay, good. Another one to read this passage also, please.
Okay, me, my turn.
Okay.
Okay, I will start. My mother just cooked it. When I went out, I found a frog on my bed. Now she knew that I would eventually find one, but she let me discover a wonder of nature that many people miss.
Great. There's one sentence at the bottom.
Okay. I'm glad she did.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, please, another one to read this passage also.
I can.
Okay.
Okay.
You see, a little earlier than spring, when I was 6 years old, I saw some little black fish Inbound. Since I didn't have any best, I went home and asked my mother if I could have one.
Great, thank you. Yes, someone else will read this passage, please.
Okay, me.
Okay,
May I?
yes.
After we talked about my section,
Okay, go on.
some of the fish I saw and the responsibility of the having a bed.
Okay,
She agreed.
great. Yes, someone
Yeah.
else, please.
Okay,
Mhm.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, I will
I
start.
can.
She gave me a ball, told me to go catch a fish,
Sorry.
and
Oh,
what?
I made a little mistake because someone came and no problem. Just let's go. We will come back to it. Read this passage,
When
please.
I got
Okay. Okay, I will start. When I got home, my mother had an old fish bowl filled with water sitting on the corner of my desk. She asked it to see the fish, look it, and with a big smile said, "Tadpoles, wow, you are in for surprise."
Good, thank you. Yes, someone else, please.
I can.
Yes.
I asked what she meant, and she just said that would have to wait and see, but to watch my fish carefully.
Good. Okay.
After a few weeks.
Yes, come on.
I think third Miriam will start.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. After a few weeks, I not I cannot see it. Not it. Some we were chanting, Mom. I yelled with the excitement.
Yes.
Read,
Please read the way you can. Read the way you can, please. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excitement. Come here.
Excitement.
My fish are growing legs. She come into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching.
Okay.
Good job.
Yes, someone else, please.
Okay, I will start. After several more weeks, there were more change. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are growing front legs and their tail is going away. She came into the room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching. Sorry.
Good. Yes, someone else, please.
A week or so late, when I got up, I was amazed. There were more changes. My fish didn't have tails. Their legs were bigger, and they didn't look like the little black fish I had caught earlier in the spring. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here. My fish are really different. She came into my room, smiled, and told me that a surprise was very close.
Thank you. Good. Yes, someone else, please.
I
Come on. Yes.
I can. That day when I returned home from school is when I yelled what I found
a frog in my bed.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I will start. Surprised, the old man. You watched Mercel right before Merkel's. Okay, Merkel right before your eyes. A fish changed into a frog. Now you had a better catch and take him and the other almost for frogs back to the pound. I don't need so more surprise tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Yes, and this is the last.
Off I went.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I win.
good. Thank you. Thank you. So guys, thank you for trying.
Thank you for you.
Now I would like you also to listen to my reading. Maybe you will notice some mispronunciations that you made while you were reading. Okay, please.
Yes,
Okay.
we find our
Good.
mistakes.
Let me start it back. Okay, so let's go again. I found a frog by T. Albert. Even though I have grandchildren of my own, it seems like it was only yesterday when I returned home from school to find a frog in my bedroom. My mother just chuckled when I yelled out, "I found a frog on my bed." Now, she knew that I would eventually find one, but she let me discover a wonder of nature that many people miss. I am glad she did. You see, a little earlier that spring, when I was 6 years old, I saw some little black fish in a pond. Since I didn't have any pets, I went home and asked my mother if I could have one. After we talked about my catching, some of the fish I saw, and the responsibility of having a pet, she agreed. She gave me a bowl, told me to go catch a few, and said that while I was out, she would prepare their new home. Off I went. There were so many that they were easy to catch. I filled the bowl and ran home. When I got home, my mother had an old fish bowl filled with water sitting on the corner of my desk. She asked to see the fish, looked, and with a big smile said, "Tadpoles, wow, you are in for a surprise." I asked what she meant, and she just said that I would have to wait and see, but to watch my fish carefully. After a few weeks, I noticed some were changing. "Mom," I yelled with excitement, "come here. My fish are growing legs." She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching. After several more weeks, there were more changes. "Mom," I yelled with excitement, "come here. My fish are growing front legs and their tail is going away." She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching. A week or so later, when I got up, I was amazed. There were more changes. My fish didn't have tails. Their legs were bigger and they didn't look like the little black fish I had caught earlier in the spring. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here. My fish are really different. She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me that a surprise was very close. That day, when I returned home from school, is when I yelled out, I found a frog on my bed. Surprise, yelled Mom. You watched a miracle right before your eyes. A fish changed into a frog. Now you had better catch and take him and the other almost frogs back to the pond. I don't need 50 more surprises tomorrow morning. Off I went. Good. This is the end of the book. And please, I would like us to come back a little bit and see really the images. You know, sometimes the writings can help us know, but when we see images also, okay, images can help us. Now, who know what a tadpole is? Do you know a tadpole?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Tadpole is a small frog.
Okay.
A small frog for a frog.
Great. So you see, for example, we see a boy who has come to the river, to the pond. A pond is a place where there is water, but it is smaller than a lake.
Yes.
It's not a lake, but just a small area, a small surface where there's water. This is what we call pond.
Yes.
Now,
I agree.
okay. What do you see in this image, please? What do you see in this
Man
image?
who's sitting.
Old man. Elderly man.
Good. We see an old man sitting in an armchair, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And this is the guy who is telling us his story.
His story.
When he was
About
a boy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now you see when he was a boy, you see his mom who's standing. She is working. Now in his bedroom, we see a frog. Okay, on the bed, right?
Yeah.
This is what he is telling us in this passage. Now, when his mom accepted, okay, to catch, you see now those creatures who are in the pond are called tadpoles. For the very first time, they are, you know, they have a big head and a long tail, but there are no feet for the very first time. But as time goes on, as time changes, they transform all into frogs. Okay. You see now he and his mother, they are talking about that. Okay, about the catching, as he said that he, you know, doesn't have a pet. You know pets, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A pet is an animal, is a domestic animal that will live with at
Domestical
home.
animal.
Good.
Take care of him in home.
Yes, yes. Now he is talking with his mom to see if his mom will let him have those creatures, tadpoles. Because when he saw them, okay, he said they are fish for the very first time. When you see them, you will think that they are fish. And that was the same thing for the boy. He thought that those creatures were fish. And when his mom agreed, he automatically went to the pond to catch those tadpoles. And we see him standing near a pond. And we see him, okay, just picking those, okay, right, good.
From the pond.
And now he has come back home. You see how his mom is looking at those creatures. And what did she say? Tadpoles, wow, you are in for a surprise. You she knows what it is, but the boy doesn't know what it is. The boy, he thinks that just they are fish, and his mom said that you are in for a surprise, because he will be surprised one day, okay, when time passes. Okay, the same thing. Now, do you see tadpoles?
Yeah.
Okay. When he said after a few weeks, he noticed that there are some legs that, are developing from those tadpoles. For the very first time, there were no legs. But now, as they are changing, they are growing, and legs came. Yeah. Okay. You see, now they are also front legs. So they are 4 legs now, 4 feet. And the tail is going away, is becoming shorter. Okay, shorter. Great. Okay. Now look, he said that day when I returned home from school is when I yelled out. To yell out is to shout out loud. I found a frog on my bed. Do you see? And what happened next? when his mom came, she says, now this is the surprise. She didn't want to tell him exactly what she meant when she said you are in for a surprise. He wanted her to tell him really what she meant, but she didn't say anything. She said, okay, keep watching, you will see.
And you will see later.
Okay. Good. And this is the story, and those are the images that can help us understand first what is a tadpole and how it transforms into a frog, and those 2 people who are, interacting. Okay. Good. I would like us just to come back to read the same text in a slide, okay? And we will understand it better. Now, please, someone to read the first paragraph, please.
Tori found a frog. Even?
Can I?
May I? Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go, come on.
I found a frog. Even though I have grandchildren of my own, it seems like it was only yesterday when I returned home from school to find a frog in my bedroom. My mother just chuckled. When I yelled out, I found a frog on my bed. Now she knew that I would eventually find one, but she let me discover a wonder of nature that many people miss. I'm glad she did.
Okay, someone else, please.
Okay.
Okay. You see, a little earlier that spring, when I was 6 years old, I saw some little black fish in a pond. Since I didn't have any pets, I went home and asked my mother if I could have one.
Good. Come on. Yes. Read the second. Read the next chapter. I mean, the next paragraph, please.
Okay. After we talk about my catching some of the fish I saw and the responsibility of having a bed, she agreed.
Okay.
She gave me a pole, told me to go catch a few on the side. While I was out, she would prepare their home of a went.
Good.
Went?
Okay, please,
I
someone
went.
else to read the first paragraph, sorry. Karam, are you there?
Karam. Okay, read it.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, read this paragraph, please, the first one.
Okay.
There were so many that they were easy to catch. I filled, sorry,
Felt.
I filled the
Mhm.
ball and ran home.
Mhm.
When I got home, my mother had an old fish bowl filled with water
Mhm.
sitting on the corner of
Mhm.
my desk. She asked to see the fish, looked and with a big smile said, "Tadpoles, wow, you are in for surprise."
Good. Someone else,
For
please. The
the
second one.
May I?
Yes, you may, please.
I asked what she meant, and I just said that I would have to wait and see. But to watch but to watch my fish carefully after a few weeks, I know somewhere changed. Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are growing legs. She comes into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching. After several more weeks, there were more changed.
Okay, read the last one, please.
Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are growing front front legs and their tilt is growing way. It's going
going
way.
away. Mhm.
She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching.
Okay, someone to read
Nice.
the first one.
Okay, I will start.
Mhm.
Uh, a week or so later, when I got up, I was amazed. There were more changes. My fish didn't have tails. Their legs were bigger, and they didn't look like the little black fish I had caught earlier in the spring.
Okay,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, complete.
Yeah, come on. Yes.
Okay, Mom, I yelled with excitement. Come here, my fish are really different. She come into my room, looked and told me that
Rice.
surprise was very
Very
close
close.
that day when I
Return.
return
Return.
return
Mhm.
return home
Mhm.
from school is when I yelled out. I found a frog on my bed. Surprised, yelled mom. I watched a, ma- a Marcel, a
Miracle.
Marcel,
Miracle.
Merkel, right before your eyes. A fish con
Ten.
changed into a frog.
Yes.
Now you had better catch and take him and the other almost frog back to the pond. I didn't need 50 more surprise tomorrow morning. Off I went.
Thank you so
Mm.
much. Thank you so much. But I would like to do I mean a last reading. Now
Mhm.
I want you to listen carefully, you know, when I pronounce words, okay? I hope
Okay.
with this our pronunciation will change a little bit, okay?
Okay.
I start. Story.
Okay.
I found a frog. Even though I have grandchildren of my own, it seems like it was only yesterday when I returned home from school to find a frog in my bedroom. My mother just chuckled when I yelled out, "I found a frog on my bed." Now she knew that I would eventually find one, but she let me discover a wonder of nature that many people miss. I'm glad she did. You see, a little earlier that spring, when I was 6 years old, I saw some little black fish in a pond. Since I didn't have any pets, I went home and asked my mother if I could have one. After we talked about my catching some of the fish I saw and the responsibility of having a pet, she agreed. She gave me a bowl, told me to go catch a few, and said while I was out, she would prepare their home. Off I went. There were so many that they were easy to catch. I filled the bowl and ran home. When I got home, my mother had an old fish bowl filled with water sitting on the corner of my desk. She asked to see the fish, looked, and with a big smile said, "Tadpoles, wow, you are in for a surprise." I asked what she meant, and she just said that I would have to wait and see, but to watch my fish carefully. After a few weeks, I noticed some were changing. "Mom," I yelled with excitement, "come here. My fish are growing legs." She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching. After several more weeks, there were more changes. "Mom," I yelled with excitement, "come here. My fish are growing front legs and their tail is going away." She came into my room, looked, smiled, and told me to keep watching. A week or so later, when I got up, I was amazed. There were more changes. My fish didn't have tails. Their legs were bigger, and they didn't look like the little black fish I had caught earlier in the spring. "Mom," I yelled with excitement, "come here. My fish are really different." She came into my room. Looked, and told me that a surprise was very close. That day, when I returned home from school, is when I yelled out, "I found a frog on my bed." "Surprise," yelled Mom. "You watched a miracle right before your eyes. A fish changed into a frog. Now you had better catch and take him and the other almost frogs back to the pond. I don't need 50 more surprises tomorrow morning." Off I went. Great. So I hope this will help all of us. And I think that when we do this, we can improve a little bit. Now, if we have some little time, maybe we can talk a little bit about our childhood if possible. Maybe just for some, let me come back to this, just for some minutes if possible. Karam? Hello? Hey, there's someone who has come lately.
Hello there.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
We are here. Just tell us a little bit about maybe your childhood, just even if 2 or 3 sentences. Hello?
Hello, I hear you, but what should we say?
Talk about when you was a
Okay,
child.
for example, what do you used to have as pet when you were a child? What do you used to have when you were a child as a pet?
Maryam, will Maryam start?
Why? Why you
you
all the time, Karam?
you want
I-
Mariam to
I-
start?
I like to involve you.
He
Yes, Maryam.
he
Maryam
makes
will
me start everywhere,
Okay.
even because we go same class, he and me,
Mhm.
and all the time he asked me to start.
No
Mariam
problem.
do that.
Okay.
Mariam.
Okay, Mariam, try.
Okay, for
Maryam,
me, yeah.
example.
Okay,
Maryam,
for
our
me,
example.
Okay, Mariam, did you used to have a pet when you
for
were a
me, when
child?
no,
You don't use, you
no,
didn't use, okay.
yeah, because my
Mm.
family is big family,
Okay.
so they never allowed us to have a
Pet.
any pet. Yeah.
Okay. Karam, now go.
But we used
Mariam
to
has
play.
finished.
Yes, Karam, now. Your
It's your
turn.
turn.
Okay. We have 4 members in our
Family.
in our my
Family.
sorry, in my
Okay.
family. We don't have a child, so because I did married.
No, we asked you about when you was baby. When you was
I'm talking
baby.
about you. When you were like this little boy that you
Ah.
see here, did you used to have a pet?
When I
Yeah.
was baby,
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
child. Sorry.
Like 6
Yeah,
years,
when you were a
7 years
child.
old.
Okay.
Mm.
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, man.
You don't
That's
remember.
embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
All right.
It's
I
not
didn't remember
The other one,
anything.
I think is Luna, right?
Lubna.
Lubna. Okay. Lubna.
Lena
Lubna.
or Lubna.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Did you used to have a
when
pet?
I remember, yeah, when I was when I was children, I have a white cat,
Okay.
but it is pass away
Mm-hmm.
when we out my home. He
Okay.
entered the bathroom.
Okay.
She drowned in the bath tube.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So So you said that you used to have a pet when you were a child, but
Yes.
he died, he drowned, right?
She passed away.
He passed,
Yes.
she passed away. Okay. I'm sorry for your cat. Jawara, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. Did you used to have a pet when you were a child?
Unfortunately, no.
Mhm.
In my childhood, I didn't get any pet. But when I was a child,
Okay.
sometimes I went to my uncle's place.
Okay.
He had a dog. Its
Mhm.
name is Rambo.
Okay.
It was very fresh,
Okay.
and he it liked
Mhm.
biting people all the time. But
Oh.
unfortunately, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it passed away now.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I'm going to answer the same question I was asking you. When I was
Okay.
when I was a little child, I had a cat. Okay, but that was a
Okay.
female cat. Okay,
Mhm.
but when
Mhm.
she had babies, something like three baby cats.
Mhm.
One day I went out. When I went out, my uncle took all those cats and threw them
Oh,
away.
true out.
Yeah, he threw them away.
Sorry.
When I came back, my younger
Mm.
brother, he was just giggling. He was, I mean,
Mm.
laughing out loud. I said, what's wrong? He said, oh, you don't know what
Uh-huh.
happened. No, let me tell you, your cat and
Uh,
her babies, all of them have been thrown. I said, who did this to
mm.
my cat? He said, oh, it's my father.
Mm.
That day I couldn't stop crying because I loved that cat so much and all the babies. But I couldn't afford, to feed them because they were many. And my uncle said,
Yeah.
no, 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 I'm not going to stay with all those cats. So he threw them away when I was out.
Oh,
I
sorry.
think my mom did
Really?
that too.
Okay,
Family.
okay,
My mom did
guys.
that too.
Mm.
We would have done something before starting reading the book, but doing some presentations because we
Mm.
don't know one another. But I think
Okay.
we should keep doing this. I hope it will help us with not only the reading and the speaking also.
Mm.
Let's see if we can have a good, I mean, a convenient time so that we come
Mhm.
here as many as possible, so that we do this
Okay.
kind of activity. I hope it will help us. It will help us better
Yeah.
I
to
hope.
Yeah.
sound good.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Thank you,
Sound good.
Mr.
So I think now I'm going to stop this recording and make sure that you are going to watch this after we finish. Okay, I'm recording it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we will watch it and we will see what are the mistakes that we made and what we need to do to improve ourselves better. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
and please we have the WhatsApp group and we have a Facebook group, a Facebook page with the same name. You can go. Sometimes there are some little exercise that you can do, and I think it will also help with, I mean, grammar, vocabulary, reading, everything. Okay, I think it will help also.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I'm really, really, really happy today because yes, there's someone, Arwa, raised his
Mhm.
hand or her hand. I don't know who it is. Yes, come on.
Hi,
Hello.
hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
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 Yes, we are getting you.
Um,
Hi everyone. Maya
Hello.
Rua from
Okay.
Jordan.
Okay.
My English not very good.
No problem.
We also sent you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and welcome. Thank you for coming here. Unfortunately, today you
no
came late,
problem. Go on.
but hopefully next time you will come earlier so that we do the activities together. Arwa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, we are not experts here. We are all here just to improve ourselves, to improve our English. Okay.
Of course.
So feel free to say things the way you can. If there are some mistakes, we can help you, correct them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. For tonight, we're going to stop this session here, hoping to have you next Sunday. Maybe next Sunday we are going to start at 7 p.m. GMT. I think it would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
7
So
p.m. from where? In Jordan or out?
GMT, GMT, 7 p.m. GMT. I think, I don't know how. Yeah.
Also me, I don't know, but
So
we'll see later.
no problem. You'll see it later. Okay, you'll see it later.
Mhm,
So thank you all.
okay.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for doing this together. I hope next time will be better than this. Thank you and bye.
Okay.
It was so
Bye.
good.
You too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.